Good morning and welcome to my show. I'm your host, Danny Graham, and I both invite and encourage you to walk with me on the road to wisdom. Good morning, y'all. Let's walk. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of the Road to Wisdom. I'm your host, Danny Graham, and thank you for joining me on another edition. Now, as you can see here, today's topic is before I get into it, this is episode 207. Thank you for supporting me. Episode 207. I'm going to do many, 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 many more with the grace of God. But today's topic is learning to pass the baton. I'll say that one more time. Learning to pass the baton. Sometimes to get inspiration for these shows, I listen to music, I'll watch TV, I'll watch different clips on YouTube, I'll talk with individuals, I listen to my sermon from my pastor and all different plethora of things. Sometimes it's at work, sometimes I'm reading a book and I see something or I see a phrase and it'll spark inspiration. I think today I was listening to a sermon on the radio on my way to church with my son, and I want to say hello to my son. He called me earlier this week and said, "Dad, I watched one of your videos, and I want to go to church with you." It was music to my ears. He came, spent the night last night. Came, got up with the church yesterday. He enjoyed the sermon. He said he definitely want to come back, so I hope that he'll be able to come back and go to church with me and start his spiritual journey. That would be fantastic. It's a blessing. So I'm glad to hear that. But anyway, getting back to today's topic, learning to pass the baton. On the way to church, my son and I were listening to a local pastor on the radio, and he was talking about different aspects. I can't remember exactly what he was talking about, but I heard him say something about the Olympics and passing the baton and this kind of stuff. So I said, that's that is a good topic to talk about. That's a good metaphor for what I want to talk about. And it's gonna excuse my lighting, man. I was kind of crazy what's going on with my lighting, but we're gonna go ahead and get through that. But today, baton. A baton basically is a piece of pipe or stick that's used in a relay race. And in the Olympics, when a relay race, I think it's the 4x100 or 4x400. I'm not sure what it is, but it involves four races. Males also participate as well as females. And basically, they have four different legs. Before I get into that, I'm going to give you the definition of baton. A baton is a short stick or tube that's passed from runner to runner in a relay race. It's a short tube or stick that's passed from runner to runner in a relay race. And most relay races in the Olympics, what I'm talking about in particular, is the 4x100 or 4x400. I'm not sure what it is. But anyway, it's involved four different runners. It's the lead leg, it's the second leg, it's the third leg, and it's the fourth leg, which is also called the anchor. And I want to give you a definition and a brief description of what each leg is and what should be the qualifications and the characteristics of that leg. The first leg, according to my research, says this starts the race, and this usually is ran by the team's best starter, the one that can get out of the blocks fast. Usually starts the first leg of the race. This runner should be able to get to a good start, run the bend well, and pass the baton smoothly. That's the characteristics and the job of the lead leg, the first part of the leg. The second member on this team is called the second leg, and it says this leg often is one of the longest and requires a lot of speed endurance. You got to be fast and you got to be able to maintain that speed. So if you're the second leg of the race, it's the longest part of the race according to this, and also you got to maintain a certain speed for a longer period of time than the other three members of the team. This runner should also be able to receive the baton with ease as well as maintaining their lane. They have to stay in a particular lane. You got to get the baton with ease and run faster for a longer period of time. The third leg member should. This leg is often given to the fourth best or the least experienced athlete on the team. This person also should have the ability to pass the baton with ease as well. But the fourth leg, which is also called the anchor leg, this one is very important according to the characteristics and the definition of the research I look up. The fourth leg and final leg member, which is considered to be by many to be the most important runner out the race, out off the team. This runner should be able to receive the baton well, run straight in an efficient manner, and have a very competitive spirit. It is often given to the fastest or the most experienced runner on that team. And that person is responsible for either catching up to the race leader or maintaining the lead that the other teammates have established. Read that one more time. The anchor leg. The anchor leg. This is the characteristics of the person that is the anchor leg. It's the fourth and final leg of this race, and which is considered by many to be the most important. This runner should be able to receive the baton well, run the straight line efficiently, and have a competitive spirit. It is often given to the fastest or the more experienced runner on the team who is responsible for either catching up to the race leader or maintaining the lead that their teammates have established. Now, in the real world, an example of this could be I'm going to use my job. The first leg of this person would be in one of my divisions, the deputy or the DFC. This person should be competent, which a lot of deputies, when they go through the training, they're competent. They have a basic understanding of the law enforcement. They know how to handle calls. So when you get a 911 call and the person go out there and it's a regular deputy, in this scenario, in this example that I'm using, they are the first member of that leg. Now, the second leg member, if that first leg member needs something else passed off or needs some additional help, then he calls a supervisor. The supervisor in this case would be his corporal. The corporal would get it. And like it says, this leg is often the longest part. Sometimes it takes a corporal supervisor to figure out a little bit more things, have a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more understanding, and able to receive that baton or that problem or that issue from the deputy and be able to carry it to as far as he or she can carry it. If there's still more issues, then sometimes they have to pass it to the third leg member, and that's usually the sergeant. The sergeant has more experience, has been running a little bit longer, and can be able to handle things and carry it to that next step. But then sometimes even the sergeant has some issues. So then he has to run it up to either the lieutenant, the captain, or the major, which would be me. And then sometimes we got to run up to the top, which is the sheriff. If you run up to the sheriff, then the sheriff usually, like it says, is considered to be the most important part of the sheriff's office. He should be able to receive the baton well, get the information well. He should be able to be very efficient with the information that he got, which he is. And he must have a competitive speed, a competitive spirit. Our sheriff has a competitive spirit, a healthy competitive spirit, not nothing that is obnoxious or anything, but he has a healthy competitive spirit. He wants to make sure the information that is given to him and that he gives out is definitely the correct information. Is often the most fastest or the most experienced person. Sheriff, in my opinion, is the most experienced law enforcement officer in my department. He's been doing it over 30-something years. He's been to different agencies. He has gathered a plethora of information and knowledge, which he shares with us, which he uses to get things done. And he is responsible either catching up, which he has caught up to other divisions, other departments, other agencies that were ahead of us. He has brought us from a place that we were far behind. And we, in some places, we have caught up with those people as far as electronics, as far as equipment, as far as knowledge, as far as salary. He has caught us up. In some cases, he has surpassed some departments, and he is maintaining that lead, and he's going to get us even further. So in this particular example, we go from the DFC to the corporal to the sergeant, possibly to either the lieutenant, to the captain, to the major, or ultimately to the sheriff. In this scenario, the sheriff is that fourth leg. He's that anchor leg. Whenever we need to gain ground or either maintain what we got, We depend on him and he leads us. He's been doing a fantastic job, fantastic leader. Now, I want to switch over to the spiritual side. I'm going to cut out 2 legs. I'm going to concentrate on the lead leg and the anchor leg. Maybe I'll throw in the 3rd leg, but I'm going to cut out one of these legs. And I'm going to use me as an example. I am the lead leg, the start off leg. In an example, you could be the start off leg. Any Christian could be the start off leg. And then we have this issue that's thrown at us. It could be a sickness, illness, a family problem, financial problem, any kind of problem. We do the best with what we can. We do everything within our power to try to rectify it, but sometimes it just ain't enough. So then we go to this next leg. In some cases, spiritually, it is a pastor, or it is a deacon, or it's somebody in the spiritual realm that we go to for advice. And we tell them, we pass the baton to them, say, look, this is the problem that I got. Tell me what is your opinion? What is your advice? They tell us their opinion. They tell us their advice. We try to work on that opinion. We try to work on that advice they give us, but it still is not working. It's still not coming together like we want to. Then guess what? We pass it off to God, to Jesus, who is that anchor leg. I want to read what God does compared to with this definition of what the anchor leg is. The anchor leg, which is God. The 4th and final leg. There is no one past God. We pass off that baton to God, we're going to get the win. But we got to pass it off to him. A lot of times we don't want to pass it off. We go too fast and we pass them up. We go too slow and we're not able to put it there on time. But we make that perfect pass to God. God gets that baton. We're going to win that race. And God being the final, the 4th leg of that race, being the anchor of that race, this is what it happens. This is what it says. The 4th and final leg, which is considered by many to be the most important. God is the most important thing in our lives. This runner should be able to receive the baton well. God can receive any of our problems with no issues at all. You have never heard of God having a problem that he cannot solve. Run the straight efficiently. There is no one more efficient than God. And have a competitive spirit. God said, "You worship no other gods before me." That's in line with spiritual word. That's in line with God's doctrine. It's often given to the fastest or most experienced runner. Who is any faster or more experienced than God? There is no one. God is the Alpha. He is the Omega. He is the beginning. He is the end. It's often given to the fastest and most experienced runner who is responsible for either catching up to the race leader and maintaining the lead that the teammates have established. There is nobody else that's going to be ahead of God. Satan tries his trick, the enemy tries his trick, but guess what? God is always one step above him, one step ahead of him. If you go back in the Bible, the devil tried to mess up the bloodline that was established by Adam. The angels that fell down with him, they had relations with human women, their children called the Nephilim, in an attempt by Satan, by the enemy, to destroy and disrupt and to muddle the human race. It was muddled to the point that God said, I got to start over again. Reset button. Noah, you and your family are the only ones that are worthy of my salvation, my grace and mercy. I'm going to give you the experience. I'm going to give you the know-how. I'm going to give you the knowledge to build the ark, and I'm going to destroy everything else. That's God maintaining that lead in that race. Satan thought he was ahead of him. But guess what? God said, I got something else to do. Hit the reset button. Cut that baton and kept it moving. Pharaoh thought that he was going to beat God. But guess what? He went across that Red Sea, think he's going to catch God. God got that baton. Guess what? Closed the Red Sea, closed the gap down, won the race. Enemy thought that he had defeated Jesus. Was going to defeat Jesus after Jesus went in the wilderness and fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. Tried to tempt Jesus 3 times. Jesus got that baton from God, won the race. Get behind me, Satan. Man should not live on bread alone. Man should not tempt God, Lord thy God. Get behind me. Satan thought he had Jesus again on the cross, but guess what? Could not keep Jesus down. God passed that baton to Jesus. Jesus arose, went down to hell, freed some of the people down there, ascended, came back, empowered his disciples, his apostles, winning the race. Now, right now, the devil thinks he's in front of the race because right now he's running through earth like hot grits. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. And if we aren't 16 sharp, he's going to pass us the baton, thinking that the baton is going to get us to win, but it's going to get us to win to hell. Those of us that take that baton. Make sure when you pass the baton to God, you pass it to God. Make sure that you have your eyes on his hand, on his prize. Keep your hands in God's hand. Don't arbitrarily pass the baton to the wrong person. Don't fall for the devil's tricks. Make sure you pass whatever that problem is. In this particular example, the baton could be your illness. It could be your financial problems. It could be your cheating husband, your cheating wife. It could be your child that's trying to do everything that you told him not to do, everything you told her not to do. It could be your job. It could be your boss. It could be your coworker. It could be a plethora of things. But you make sure that you pass that baton, you pass that burden, you pass that hardship to God, and God is going to take that baton, relieve you of it, and go win the race. But you got to have faith. You'll learn how to pass the baton. A lot of times we want to keep the baton to ourselves. A lot of times we drop the baton. If you drop the baton, there's no way you can win the race. If you keep that baton in your hand, you keep those long strides, you believe that you just got to be able to pass it off and hand it to him efficiently. You hand your problems, your sins, your issues, your worries to God in an efficient manner, just like a racer does. It doesn't matter what leg you are. But if you're in that third leg and you're trying to reach that ankle leg, you make sure you run with all you got, you pass that baton to God, and God's going to take the baton. He's going to win the race for you. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. It's just that simple. The world tries to complicate things. It tries to muddy the water. It tries to change the rules, but you can't change the rules of the race. You can try to, but once you get the rules of the race, you know what you got to do. You got to have the first leg, the second leg, the third leg, and the fourth leg. And the most important leg to man and to the Bible is God. Is that fourth leg. To man, it may be enough to man and to the culture, that fourth leg may be something totally different. But in the spiritual aspect of it, in the spiritual race, that fourth leg, that anchor leg is God, it's Jesus Christ, it's the Holy Spirit, it's the Trinity. That's that fourth leg. That's that leg we got to make sure we pass our baton to so God can get us home, so Jesus can get us home, so the Holy Spirit can get us home. Two scriptures I want to read to you to pair along with this theme of learning to pass baton. The first scripture comes from the book of Hebrews, the 12th chapter, the 11th verse, and it reads as follows. God allows adversity as part of our spiritual training so that people can lean on his strength and become stronger. Let me say that one more time. God allows adversity as part of spiritual training so that people can lean on his strength and become stronger. You practicing for a race, you're going to go through adversity. Sometimes you're not going to get it right. Sometimes you're going to fumble with that baton. But guess what? You got to keep practicing. You got to keep working on it to get better. The same way you have to work on something physically to get better, for us working out, for us things at your job, for us your marriage, for us any aspect of your life, in the physical aspect, in the cultural aspect, you have to keep working on it. You got to Keep practicing so you can get stronger. That same thing, you got to do that same thing spiritually. You got to exercise spiritually. And part of exercising spiritually is having a good prayer life. A lot of us don't want to pray until problems is on us and we seem to have nowhere else to go. You should have a good, strong prayer life. That should be repetitive. That should be something that you do every day. Every day like clockwork, you should do it. Sometimes not even like clockwork. Whenever you're never going to be chastised by God for praying too much. I've never heard that. Never seen any kind of Bible, any kind of scholar saying that God is going to be upset with you because you pray to him too much. That ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. The more you pray, the stronger you become. The more you read the Bible, the more knowledgeable you become. Like I said last week, seek, knock. Those are three things you got to do. You got to ask, you got to seek, you got to knock. Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. Those three things. Got to practice. Got to learn how to pass that baton. A lot of times we think we can do things ourselves with our own power, but we can't. God is that battery. God is that source of strength, of inspiration, of determination. All that comes from the battery, the spiritual battery of God, of Jesus, of the Holy Spirit. And we have to tap into that. That's a battery that never goes dead. It never needs to have jumper cables plugged up to it. It's an undepletable battery. It cannot be depleted. We just have to tap into it. Second scripture I want to read to you comes from Romans, the 5th chapter, the 3rd to the 5th verse. And it reads, struggles have a purpose and can help people develop endurance. Say it one more time. Struggles have a purpose and can help people develop endurance. Just like you got a race, practice for the race, and sometimes they struggle in the races. I think the Americans struggled in one of his last races I heard, I think, on commentary somewhere. Sometime in life, in your spiritual race, you're going to struggle. You're going to have struggles. But the more you struggle, the more God puts obstacles in your way. He's putting those obstacles in your way. He's calling you that struggle for a purpose. Some people can't understand it. Sometimes I don't understand it. Sometimes I understand, well, why am I sick? Why did I get COVID for the 4th or 5th time? Why do I have disease? I don't understand. Why is my wife not love me the way she used to? Why is my husband not love me the way she used to? Why two of my kids are doing the right thing and one is just being difficult? Why my church members are not doing what they're supposed to do? Why is my deacon that I depend on not living the life he should live? Why is this? Why is that? You got to improve your prayer life. And I know some of you saying, well, Danny, I pray every day. I pray this, that. But guess what? Like I said earlier, I've never heard of anyone say that you can pray too much. I've never heard of that. When you pray, though, you got to be patient. Once we pass that baton to God, you can't worry about whether or not God's going to win that race. We got to believe in our heart and know and have faith. He's going to win that race. A lot of times we pass the baton to God. We want God to cross the line right then and there. God's going to cross that line whenever he sees fit. But guess what? He's going to win that race. No doubt in my mind. We just got to get the baton to him. You got to learn how to pass that baton. And sometimes passing that baton can be so hard. I don't want to do it. I can handle it myself. I don't need God. I don't need that. I can handle it. You maybe can handle it, but you can't handle it in the way that God can. You can't. There is no way you can change my mind from that statement. Ain't happening. I want to get out of here with a quote. This comes from Pastor Joel Osteen. I read this. I said, this goes right along with the theme I have today. And he says, There will always be somebody more talented, more beautiful, and more successful. You have to realize you're not running their race, you're running your race. Let me say that one more time. This comes from Pastor Joel Osteen. He said, there will always be somebody more talented, more beautiful, more successful. You have to realize you're not running their race, you're running your race. You can't keep up with the Joneses. Sometimes God just don't bless us with certain things. Sometimes God bless other people with singing voices, with beauty, with riches, with money, and we ask ourselves, like, why did that happen to me? You were here to put on a purpose. You were here to put on a purpose that God has in store for you. Now, sometimes these purposes that God has in store for us, we don't do the right things to access that. Because in having or establishing a purpose for us, God gives us free wills. And if we don't make the right choices in that free will, and sometimes it can divert us from a blessing. Sometimes it can divert us from a lifestyle. I know some people saying, well, God, he does, there's no free will, it's predetermined. I don't believe it's predetermined. I believe that God gives us free will. And if we make the certain choices, the right choices based on the rules, that we can access these blessings that God has in store for us. But if we make the wrong choice, we can omit ourselves from getting those same blessings. But it's all about making the right choice, making the right decision. It's all about learning how to pass that baton. It's all about learning how to have blind faith. It's all about learning how to have faith as small as a mustard seed. You put all that together, improve your prayer life. You're going to learn how to pass the baton. You're going to have a successful race. You're going to be a winner. That's my belief. And that's my 2 cents on this topic as well. Now, there'll be some time in life challenge your beliefs, your thoughts, and your God. They're going to tell you that's a bunch of junk. And they're going to try and do a smoke screen with this one word called love. God loves everybody. He loves everything. Why would your God do this? Aren't we supposed to love everybody? Aren't you supposed to love everybody? You are supposed to love everybody, but guess what? There are rules to that love. The rules are in the book called the Bible. It's just like the NFL. There are 32 teams in the NFL, and all those teams have the same rule book. But guess what? All those teams have separate playbooks. The rule books tell the whole league the do's and don'ts, just like the Bible tells every Christian, every non-Christian, the do's and don'ts. But God, who's the ultimate coach, he has a playbook for Danny. He has a playbook for my dad. He has a playbook for my mom. He has a playbook for my boss. He has a playbook for my wife. He has a playbook for my family. And sometimes our playbooks aren't going to match up. But that playbook is for that particular person. And we got to realize that. So, when those people approach you and they say these crazy things, it's probably going to tick you off. Then you tell these individuals something along the lines of this. You say, I choose to believe the Bible because it's a reliable collection of historical documents written down by eyewitnesses during the lifetime of other eyewitnesses. They report to us supernatural events that took place in fulfillment of specific prophecies and claim that their writings are divine rather than human in origin. That comes from Pastor Vodi Bakum, a pastor I listen to quite often, who is quite inspirational in some of the things that I do. who gives you a perspective coming from an intelligent and spiritual point of view. Please check him out on YouTube. If you're not doing anything, I definitely think it'll be beneficial to you. If this is the first time you ever see me on this platform, I'm going to actually do a few things for me before I get out of here. First thing I'm going to ask you to do is please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell because I don't want you to miss any material that I upload in the future. Also, hit that like, that thumbs up. That helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Also, leave a comment. Your comments let me know that you like what I'm saying. Also, they give you opportunity to write down something that I will read and respond back to you. And also, if you have a particular topic that you want me to discuss, leave that in the comment and I will definitely try and do a show about that particular topic. Also, share this video with your friends, your family, and coworkers, anyone that you think would love to hear about God. And last but not least, I'm going to ask you to please watch this video from the start to finish. That helps me out with the YouTube algorithm as well. So, until next time, until Wednesday morning, I hope you have a fantastic day. Stay safe. Be blessed. And I'll see you later. God bless you.
Danny Graham, he speaks so clear. Love thy neighbor, hold them dear. Bible wisdom every day. God's own path, the only way. On the road to wisdom bright. Follow God through darkest night. Bible's words are guiding light. Marching forward with his might. Hear the stories from above. Jesus' power, purest love. Trust in him no matter fall. Grace is here for one and all. To wisdom bright, follow God through darkest night. Bible's words are guiding light, marching forward with his might.